Oh, YouTube. Excuse me. Yeah, so these London riots, in fact, it's not just London riots, but UK wide, is very sad indeed. Um, it's an awful thing, and it's made me feel very sad that these are going on. And the reason being is that and I've talked in previous videos about these like worldwide uprisings and revolutions, okay, in various countries, and these uprisings. Of course, every uprising has a degree of rioting. I mean, there's always going to be a group that doesn't know quite how to achieve things peacefully and resort to rioting, which is always sad. But on the whole, the whole uprising and revolution events that are going on in the world have a purpose behind them. They have an agenda. They have something they're trying to achieve. There's a motive. Now, I would love to be able to say that the London riots and the UK riots are along the same lines, but they're not. Now, the news footage I've seen is, and I don't always trust the news. I mean, I really don't. I take the news with a pinch of salt. Now, I won't go into all of that right now, but most of you watching this will know what I'm talking about. That the news is often just psyops and propaganda trying to steer public thinking to perceive an event in a particular way. I do think that these events in the UK can be utilised as a distraction, perhaps to keep us from being aware of other things that are going on in the world while these are going on. So the coverage, the extensive coverage on these events and the lack of coverage on all other world news could be a distraction. But anyway, that's another thing. Let's not talk about that. So from what I've seen, right, and although I don't trust the news, I do think it's pretty clear, right, from all the footage, that this is just it's such primitive, senseless, mindless rioting and looting for pure selfishness and greed, and for the love of crime and lawlessness. It's very sad. There doesn't seem to be a reason. There's nothing being accomplished. It's just stealing stuff and being a nuisance, and terrible. It's terrible. And there are children involved in this, actually committing the crimes. The news I've seen, it says that there's 8-year-olds, children as young as 8. Can you believe that? As young as 8 years old. I mean, what possesses an 8-year-old to riot against the police, throw glass bottles at the police? It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. What has this world come to? What has this nation come to? It's awful. So then, okay, what do I make of it? How do I make some sense of this in my mind as to what's going on and why it's happening? Well, I believe that in some indirect way it is sort of connected to the worldwide revolutions and uprisings that are triggering off one by one and spreading around the world. I think that we are at a period in time in the timeline, right, as we progress on toward the end of this age, and as we are veering into the new age, and as we are about to take that evolutionary leap there's just turmoil, and there's like a collective subconscious confusion and just some general strange things going on in the collectiveness of humankind. And when humankind is going through things together, it's like with anything, things affect different people differently. And I think that in the British culture, the young people in the British culture, they are reacting to changes, changes that they do not perceive, not on a conscious level, but the changes in humanity, in the whole vibration of humanity and of the earth, and the solar, the new solar energy, and as we're merging onward, okay, and about to enter like this new age, okay. Now, some of you watching this, you're going to be like, what the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, now there'll be some people that will know, but those of you who aren't kind of like of the same mind as me, or not have a clue what I'm talking about. Okay, but I don't know, hopefully it might start the clogs going, it might kind of spur you to maybe type in a few keywords and do your research on this kind of thing. But anyway, so there's like mankind is unsettled, right? Mankind is confused. Now I do believe, right, that although I absolutely, and let me make this clear, I absolutely do not condone this type of behaviour. It's terrible. It's committing crime like this is a terrible thing, right? And hurting others and hurting people's businesses. I'm not talking about big corporations that they're hurting, for some type of a protest, So we're talking about like just any old business, just randomly destroying property and hurting people. But yeah, I do think that it is humankind is unsettled right now because there are things happening to our species, right? And some people are aware and moving with it and embracing it, and some people are not even the slightest bit conscious of it. But on a subconscious level, collectively, people are becoming aware subconsciously of changes. And it's unsettling people, and it's causing people to perhaps behave negatively, right? And I do believe that the similarity that these events have with like maybe other countries, okay, is that like the young people in the UK are perhaps coming to a realization that life is not as it ought to be, and they're rebelling against the system in the wrong way. They're rebelling in the wrong way, in a totally unproductive and disempowering and negative way and illegal way, right, which is not good. But there's like high unemployment, there's high cost of living. I mean, the Israelis are protesting and trying to create a revolution right now because of the high cost of living, right? Well, we're experiencing high cost of living in the UK. It's been going up and up and up and up, and like incomes aren't going up, but cost of living is going up, and life is getting hard, and it's getting harder and harder, and people are getting less and less disposable income, and the sense of hopelessness is increasing. The unemployment. I mean, I know people that have been unemployed for a long, long time that are looking for work. So the unemployment's bad. And there are people watching this video from other countries, and you'll relate to this because the unemployment is a worldwide thing now. So when you put together like unemployment, hopelessness, despair, high cost of living, and just these general negative things that make day-to-day living a struggle, right? Now, we're all in the same boat, and we're not all out doing bloody stupid things, right? I have a tough life, and I'm not out robbing shops and mugging people and rioting against the police. I would never do that, right? But that's because I don't react in that way to my circumstances. But we're all in the same circumstances, but we're all reacting in different ways. And I just think that the young people, and you know, it's not entirely that is to blame either. There's many factors involved, many factors. I think the breakdown of the family unit has a lot to answer for. You know, it does, and that's proven. You know, poor diet, you know, so many things. You know, and the government and the lack of justice and the lack of consequences for poor actions, you know. So there's many factors. But yeah, ultimately the message of this video is that, like, humankind is going through change. And there are people just not taking to that very well. And they're not even conscious of it. Again, it is a subconscious thing. It's unsettling to many people. And like I said before, there'll be people that will not know what the fuck I'm talking about. But there are people that will know. And for those of you who maybe don't know what I'm on about, rather than, like, I don't know, rather than diss me, okay, just have a think about what I've said, and look at, just type in consciousness, you know, just do a bit of research, and it will become clearer. That's all.